Well, hey, I don't really do videos like this, so please bear with me. I'm gonna try and address everything from in order and get everything from sharkyleo's video out the way and everything from gwamgo's video addressed properly. I'm gonna try and include screenshots, and I'm also gonna dive into some things that I did not address and own up to everything. Let's start with the Forsaken Shattered thread. I had been contacted about a thread about the Forsaken Shattered owner. Maono was in the making. They had relayed some information that I glossed over, making me believe that Maono was not a good person at all. This led to me giving the people who were creating the thread permission to post it on my account. After the thread had been posted, it initially had its supporters. But later on, people had begun to attack me, believing that I was the one creating the thread, in which I'm not. I understand now that my owner reasonably lied about not wanting people to know about his past, because it was something he considered to be shameful and wanted to try and leave it behind. My owner has since admitted to being person behind the account, which is Cursed Caves. I was wrong, and I'm sorry for approaching the situation incorrectly, and for being aggressive towards anybody who was against the thread at the time. I got very upset, because it seemed the reason why people weren't believing me or the thread was because of the dislike that they had for me and the other things that I've done, which I'm going to address later on in the video. If given the chance, I would have looked more into it and not posted the thread, because I had not even seen the entire thing before it was posted. A lot of the information shown was stuff I learned around the same time everybody else did, so it's entirely on me for not looking into it. The way the situation was handled was extremely poorly on my part, and I really apologize to both Maono and the entire Forsaken Shattered team for any harassment that was sent towards them because of it. I understand how large of a platform I have and how I've been using it really poorly, so in the future I will 100% try not to handle situations like this. Moving on to the pedophilia allegations, with the stuff going over Puwgatory too. I'll start off by saying here that no, I am not a pedophile. This comes directly after I had posted the Forsaken Shattered thread. A user named Puwgatory had quoted me on Twitter, claiming I was using my follower base to try and get my owner harassed. In a fit of anger, I word for word told them to keep sucking me off, N-word. I want to apologize for what I had said here. This was not intended to be a sexual advance of any sorts, nor was it meant to be pedophilic or weird towards them. The intention here was to convey that they would not leave me alone, or in other words, keep obsessing over me, N-word, as they continued to speak on me even after I had taken down the thread, blaming me for everything and claiming I had gone out of my way again to get this 12-year-old, Cursed Caves, aka Maono, who is now 15, harassed. I attempted to bring up Puwgatory's allegations as a rebuttal, but in hindsight, it was really stupid and completely unrelated to the situation, so I apologize to both you and the people for that. Condo Allegations. I plan on going much more further in depth about this later on, but the reason for me continuing to avoid it is that I'm very embarrassed about my past regarding this kind of stuff. I've stated it before, but I used to actively scam pedophiles, which was extremely degrading, but I felt it's worth bringing it up. I'm going to show some transactions on screen, and I'm going to mention here that all photos I used were of OnlyFans models, and there were no minors involved with this other than myself. Because I, at the time, was 17 or 16, 17. The main reason why I was inside of Condo Discord servers is because it's very easy to find pedophiles in there. It's a known and very common issue that these places have. I have never directly played a Condo game, nor have I ever been in any. Regarding the Gooner items in my inventory, I bought a good majority of them over a year ago, so I just forgot they were there. That doesn't make it okay, nor do I really remember the reason as to why I bought them. I just forgot to get rid of them. One of the two Gooner items that were stated were specifically meant to be for a cosplay, specifically Jane Poe, which is the Blue World John Jane Doe, if you remember my old chase theme that I had made. The others, I have no avatars using it, so I genuinely just forgot what I possibly could have used it for. Again, not justified, but that's my reasoning. I plan on talking to some of Ruben's associates and some people associated with him to try and get this solved out. I was actively getting it resolved by talking to Kaiser and a few others who were related, but gwamgo got his video out. But just know that it is actively being resolved. I did not go into these servers to talk to kids, nor did I ever play condo games. And the alts in these condo servers relating to both the pro shipping and spawnism stuff. I do want to mention how I use my Twitter to speak, and I speak about really weird things on there, which I should not be doing publicly. There's a time and place to do this, and with the follower base of my size, especially with people that young, I should not be doing these things. Let's go on to the Aubree Situation, or In other words, the 15-year-old that I harassed. So for some background, Aubree, otherwise known as Teen Noobkin or Rosemarykin, is a Twitter user aged 15. At the time, they were fairly active and prominent in the Forsaken community, being known for being an asset ripper, but they were also known as a pro shipper. They have actively lied about a multitude of times that they had stopped pro shipping, even directly to both me and our friends. We've given her multiple chances, which is why when we found out again, we ended up cutting her off. I'll show a screenshot showing a thread that I had made, showing everything relating to it. The situation itself, after I'd cut Aubree off, she sent me a Discord DM. Because I had gotten blocked after sending the screenshot, I chose to go and post this block message to Twitter, which is now deleted. I'll show that up on screen. This ended up gaining a lot of traction. I had called out Aubree afterwards for a leaked screenshot of her listing the things she was into, one of which she specified to be pedophilia. I'm unsure on if applying the term pedophile to her was correct, but I've seen Aubree's old friends say that she was caught grooming a 12-year-old and would even go as far as to talk about wanting to go into Discord servers to find 13-year-olds to groom. I found this extremely disgusting, which led me to leading some sort of hate campaign towards Aubree, even going as far as wishing that she had committed. There's no scenario where this should ever be justified, even to the people who choose to say it was okay and I was rightfully condemned for it. I'll provide my thread in the description where I apologize to everything regarding Aubree, which also ties into the stuff at Bo. I did actively encourage harassment towards Aubree, which was entirely wrong of me, and I acted out of impulsiveness, which was extremely immature, especially for someone of a following of my size. I did also say some disgusting things regarding what happened with Aubree, so I apologize for the stuff I said about her, and I really, really regret ever encouraging her to commit. I will also mention that the document mentioned in both gwamgo's video and the document itself was created by a group of pro shippers. Pro shippers being people who ship very problematic and disgusting things. I will link sharkyleo's video that he had made on me in both the pinned comment and description, because there are things that I don't want to show off due to them being quite vulgar in nature. This is the situation about Bo. A few months back, probably remember a few of my community posts, but I also talked about it on Twitter. I had ended up venting on my public Twitter account due to the mass influx of hate I had been receiving about my music. I was going to put it on my private account, but I had been running off of pure emotion, so I ended up just venting out my frustration to the public. A user who is age 14 had replied to me with something very insensitive, which I'll put up on screen, while I was in the middle of my breakdown, so I ended up responding very rashly using the word that I can't say here. I will say that I am black, I am LGBT, and I am neurodivergent. In the context I used it in, it was meant to be an insult that does not justify anything. And Bo, if you are reading this document, I want to apologize to you personally, and to the public. I'll apologize for handling this extremely immaturely. I should not have responded to the bit of hate even if I was in the middle of a breakdown. It doesn't justify anything. I just hope that you understand. And I should not be acting the way that I do with such a platform of my size. Let me address how I feel about Forsaken content and why I always bring up what I make. Starting off with what I said regarding Forsaken content and making it, I never said that I had anything against people creating Forsaken content. I was, and still are, reasonably upset with Itoko and Basil regarding everything that they had done, especially with the handling of Kaiser, but I was never against people doing stuff for themselves, especially because I believe that making content was not directly supporting Soul. I do understand why people think that doing so indirectly supports Soul though. The reason why I always end up trying to flex the money that I make is because when I'm under stress, I try to flex to try and put myself on a higher pedestal. It doesn't justify anything, but that's also partially why I throw insults at other people instead of trying to reason. It's no excuse, and while not the best reason, it's partially why I feel like I do this stuff. Referencing the tweet where I had stated I would be blocking people who created Forsaken content, I was referring specifically to my alt account. I at my alt account in the same tweet, specifying that I do not want Forsaken on there in specific. I become extremely impulsive and irrational when under a lot of stress, not really thinking any further into the future, and I'm seeing the consequences of this happen tenfold, which is why I understand people are really upset with me. Regarding the stuff with Lucasberry, I'm not going to go too in depth as we've already solved a majority of this privately, but I do want to apologize for acting extremely rash regarding everything. I made a situation public that should have been resolved privately, which ended up making Lucasberry leave the platform, but for the wrong reasons. Regarding stuff with Soul, this one's a little trivial, but there was a moment in time when SoulDrivenLove was both commenting and making jabs at me. I'll link tweets in the description going over what I'm referring to. There isn't much I'm apologizing for here, other than that I should not have kept feeding into the negative attention that Soul was sending towards me. It just gives a bit of context. I will go over a part where I say a lot of slurs. I will apologize to everyone for the way I use them, even if I can reclaim them. I end up using them in very childish ways, begin to undermine the meaning of them, and especially with the following of my size and people who are extremely impressionable, I really need to handle these situations significantly better, and I should not be using these words the way that I do. Moving on to what I'm going to do after this, the future of both my Twitter and my channel, and what I'm going to do as a person. I will mention I have been sent death threats, had my work insulted, and I've been threatened to be doxxed. For another thing I will say is I am nothing like Soul, nor am I a pedophile. I will address here that the way gwamgo presents my server as Epstein's Island is very misleading. I have said some weird shit in there, but I will be improving on that, and I will not be doing anything along those lines in there anymore. There's nothing inappropriate that is ever shown to people in there, and we do take care of punish the people who send weird things in there accordingly. I'm very aware that I don't handle things the best and that I'm a very impulsive person. Let me mention here, for those who are asking, at the time I started making this video, I've been out of dive deaths for almost 20 days, almost a month at this point basically. This drama was not the tipping point, nor was it the reasoning. My upcoming work will still come to the game and nothing I made is being removed. I will also mention, I'm not a Forsaken dev, I only make fan content for fun. Nothing I make is with the intention of trying to get it in game. Yes, I might be friends with them and even have connections, but it doesn't mean anything I do is with the intent of trying to gain. Hopefully, I've addressed everyone's concerns regarding the stuff I've both done in the past, and I'll apologize for not being the best at handling situations, digging myself into a deeper and deeper hole. I'm very aggressive and it's become very clear I have anger issues. I'm still going to post content on YouTube, but I'll slowly move away from making Forsaken and dive death content. I plan on moving towards trying to work on myself so I don't end up in this spot again. I won't be posting to Twitter at all after this video releases, because I want to try and work on myself and improve. I don't want this to be an empty promise either, so I'll try my best to make change. If you've watched this video, please and thank you. And if I've affected you, I'm going to put my Discord in the description, because I'd like to talk about it directly and personally with you. Thank you for watching this. See you guys out.